All right, let's look now at the class of 2020. It's an incredible number. Offensively, it looks like you've brought in three big quarterbacks. You've had some success, obviously, with the likes of Quinn Epperly and Chad Kanoff and John Lovett with the big quarterbacks. So is this kind of you're kind of going down the same route?
Yeah, we've had with all the multi-quarterback things we do. Us having a little depth there is very important to our offense, obviously. And the three guys we going in, and I'm going to do a little bit different this year and do some comps. I
Right.
read an article. Duke Tobin, who I worked with the Bengals, he's a premier talent, scout and evaluator in the National Football League. They were talking about analytics. And he said, yeah, we use analytics, but the best thing is experience, being able to build a picture of a guy. This is who he's similar to in these ways. I thought, man, that was really neat. And I kind of made a mental note of that when we got to go to the recruiting. Let's go with it this way. So Kevin Davidson, Connor Michelson. Just picture the ball coming out of Connor Michelson's hand. That it's like a jugs machine that, whoosh, when it comes out of a jugs machine. That's how strong his arm is. And I say that Connor Michelson was not a tall guy. Kevin's right around 6'5". He'll probably come into camp next year above 220 pounds, but somewhere between 220 and 230. But like Connor, he's strong. He's sneaky athletic.
Which
partly,
Michelson was too.
And Michelson, we had that conversation so many times when he'd break out, but he is your classic pro style NFL, sit back in the pocket and let the jugs machine just put it right on target that way. Zach Keller, righty, we'll say for right now, but Zach Keller is a lot like Chad. I watched both those guys play basketball, and they were mirror images, just athletic. Again, 6'5". He's equally as tall as Chad, equally as skinny as Chad was back then, but he's got that frame where he's going to continue to put on weight. And like Chad had maybe the best release of anybody I've evaluated since I've been doing this at Princeton. Zach isn't there yet, but he's close. And that's an area where we'll have to work to get up to that level. But he is a guy that will obviously help in some of the multi things. He is like Chad, and maybe even higher. He was a high-level basketball recruit. And then Zach Kelly, who is a lefty.
The Keller and Kelly.
Keller and Kelly, Zach and Zach. He's very Quinn-esque. Lefty from the South, just full of energy. Can put him in any spot on the field, and he's going to be successful. But you imagine a dual-threat quarterback similar to Quinn, and in different ways we got Quinn the ball early in his career, handing him the ball, letting him throw it, giving the ball, letting him run it. He's got a lot of similarities, and he's just like Quinn. He's a tremendous athlete. I'm at his high school. He's in Louisiana. They're playing baseball in January, and the first pitch he swings at, he hits it 390 feet off the right center field fence, the top of it. I mean, he is a tremendous athlete.
You have, with Kanoff and Lovett coming back, I mean, you have some experience there. It sounds like Kelly is the one who maybe could get in earliest in those multi-quarterback sets.
Yeah, I think Kelly he couldn't fit any better the multi-quarterback stuff that we do. Keller will kind of like, a Bostic can do. He can do a multitude of things that way. And Davidson is pure drop back. A lot of the stuff that we've done the last few years with Connor and with Chad to some extent.
Running back position, you bring in Ryan Quigley, and I know you mentioned him, somebody who's going to benefit you a lot more than just the running back spot.
Yeah, I mean, my comp with him was Will Powers. And Will might have been the most underappreciated player we've had in, my 6 years.
I mean, you felt his loss in special teams.
Oh, he was such a good special teams player. He could run the ball 15 times in a game and he'd get you 100 yards. He could run it 8 times a game, block a punt, do other things. And we went, and 2 of our coaches went and saw Ryan play in high school. The only plays he came out of the entire game was on the extra point field goal. That's the only time somebody came in to kick. He was in every play on offense, every play on defense, every other play on special teams. He's that type of guy that you just win championships with. He's a winner. He just, and for us, for a young guy to get and make the travel squad, special teams is going to play a big role. So he's going to be competing with a really good group, and I anticipate he's going to be right there with those guys.
You lose an all-Ivy tight end after this coming season in Scott Carpenter. So you brought in two guys, and they look like two guys who can kind of balance each other out a little bit.
Yeah, they really complement each other. Riley Held is in that Des Smith. And again, Des was one of those underappreciated players. He really set the edge as a blocker, but he caught the ball. He wasn't going to run around anybody, but he'd catch the ball and run through guys. And Riley, his nickname's Baby Gronk or whatever on that. He's from Massachusetts. He's got that big frame. He catches everything, and he's going to be lumbering over top of guys. He's just really good that way. Sam Johnson, I go back to my first year, and I remember at camp I said this to Andy Ark, was coaching the tight ends at the time. I said, man, Sam reminds me of Harry Flaherty. Just his quick twitch, and you could tell he's going to be a versatile guy. He can set the edge as a blocker. He can be in an H-back position. He could play in the backfield. You could put him out in space. He's going to do everything well, and he's cousins with Tom Johnson, and you can't get enough of guys that just do things right. Tom Johnson is a freshman, just does everything right, and from every indication, every bit of homework we did, Sam's the same way.
Similar to the tight end spot, you bring in three receivers who, again, look like they could complement each other nicely and maybe even make an impact this year.
Yeah, Tiger Best, we had that whole series, Who's the Tiger? Well, hopefully we found the Tiger. So, he's coming from Louisiana by way of Loomis Chaffee, and he was at camp, and I go to every single position group during camp, during the course of a morning, during the course of an afternoon. And Dennis Goldman, who there's not a finer wide receiver coach in the country than Dennis. And Dennis says, hey, I'm going to put these guys through these drills. Tell me what you think of these guys. And after he went through the drills, he gave him a water break. And I said, that guy's Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
He goes, that's Roman Wilson. His quickness in and out of his cuts, you could tell he's got the ability to be a punt returner. He's got the ability to get the ball in space. And, to be a big play threat from the slot is something we really haven't had.
Right.
And a guy with that quick speed, you see the Patriots use that guy all the time. You see NFL teams get that guy who's a little undersized, but so quick that he's uncoverable in some of those matchups. Andrew Griffin, I'll comp with, he's from Indiana. He's, Connor Kelly. Connor Kelly's a more stature, a bigger guy than Andrew. Andrew's quicker, but they're both, at the end of the day, they're reliable guys. A Friday night before one of our games, I came back to the house after meetings and everything with one of my teammates at Princeton. And we turned on the TV, there's nothing on, this channel. And ESPNU had a high school game on. I'm like, oh my God, that's Andrew Griffin. And you could tell the trust he had with his quarterbacks. In every key spot they went to him, he had a couple touchdown catches, had a pick on defense, was just a terrific football player all around. And like Connor Kelly, he's a guy that you could tell is going to build up trust, with the quarterbacks, be where he's supposed to be, and he's going to give a little extra dynamic in the open field as well. So really excited about him. And then Luke Tim, and this is Kevin Davidson, when I say this, I comp him with Matt Costello, only Luke Tim is 6'5". He has the body control, the hands, the precise route running. Matt Costello is one of the all-time leading receivers at Princeton, and it's because of all the things he did to get open and really maximize his talents. When you watch Luke Tim compete for a ball and go up and hang in the air and do all those things, it's very Matt Costello-esque. And I think there's a size difference there, but those two guys really outplay their speed. And Matt did it for 4 years as one of the best receivers we've ever had.